No, Erev Tov to all the people in Tzfat and wherever they may be found all over the world. I'm sure it states very clearly that when Jews study, so the angels, Malochi Ashores, the angels of heaven come to listen to the study of Torah that we study here down in this material world. So I know we have to greet everyone, not only the people here in this world, but also from the spiritual worlds as well. And not to make sure we don't omit anyone, and no one should be offended, chas v'shalom. But nevertheless, we're in the Dvar Malchus, we're on Parshas Tetzaveh, the second Sicha. In the hard copy, it's on page 377, depending on your print. And we're beginning at Ois Hey, the fifth letter. But before we go and we begin the Ois, we want to acknowledge and to publicize the importance of the in Chutz La'aretz. It's still this day, the Chof Ches Koyach Nisan, the 28th of Nisan, in which the Rebbe gave the public addressal many years ago in Tafshin Nun Aleph, that goes back to 33 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. 33, yeah, 30 plus 1 plus 2, yeah, 33 years ago, in which the Rebbe comes and the pinnacle point of the addressal, as we understand it, is that the Rebbe comes and says that Ani Asisi, Ani Asisi I've done my part and my share in going and bringing the revelation of Mashiach, and now at this point the Rebbe says, Ani Meiser, as I'm giving over this shlichus to you meaning to not only to the Lubavitcher Hasidim that were there present and listening, but to every single Jew in the entire universe. And many people, even till now, many people took this in a non-positive manner. In other words, I've done everything that I can, and it wasn't enough, and now you have to do kol shebi chostechem, everything that is in your ability, lahovi es Moshiach tzidkenu, to bring our righteous Moshiach bepoil mamish, in actuality, literally in actuality. So many people saw, maybe people understood this as something that is chas v'sholom not positive, even demeaning. In other words, I tried to knock on doors. And I'm speaking every Shabbos, and chas v'sholom, these are not the words of the Rebbe, but chas v'sholom, people thought that this was like I'm speaking to a wall. Nothing's moving, nothing's going. So now the Rebbe says, "Now I'm giving it over to you, and we have to do everything that is in our ability in order to go and to fulfill the mission." But actually, and I've heard this from many different mashpim, it was also mentioned in the Farbrengen, Avi Piamente, actually, mentioned in the Farbrengen this past Shabbos Mevorchim Iyar, which is a very special month. The Iyar is the Rashi Tevis, is the acronym of Ani Hashem Rofecha, I am Hashem, your healer. And he explained the following idea, the following concept is, the Rebbe was not coming and saying something non-positive. That doesn't correlate with the Rebbe. So what was the Rebbe saying? The Rebbe was saying like this: in all the previous generations, when people were doing whatever they were doing in order to bring Mashiach, and they were great tzaddikim, great righteous people, that they did everything that they could to try to bring Mashiach. Even they mentioned the famous story of Rabbi Yosef de Lorena. He was in the times of the Ari, the Holy Ari, that said, "That's it. It's enough. We have to bring Mashiach now." And he went and he was with different permutations. He was able to go and to capture the Samach Mem, to capture the Yetzer Hara. And and he was about to force him to go and to bring Moshiach. In other words, to go into to declare the Yetzer Hara was to declare bankruptcy, and then Moshiach had to come. And at the last minute, he was chained up with chains with Hashem's name on it. But the last minute, so he asked for he asked to smell some snuff, or it was the frankincense, the Torah, and Rav Yosef said, no, to give the Yetzer Hara a little, a shmek tabak, to give him a sniff of smelling tobacco. What could be the harm? And the moment that he was able to go and to have the smell of tabak from Rabbi Yosef de Lorena, this was already he was able to capture, the Klippa was able to capture the holiness of Rabbi Yosef. He was able to break out of his chains, and he escaped. So even then, Mashiach wasn't brought on a revealed basis. What the Rebbe is coming and telling us now is that what we're talking about, that we should do everything that we can in order to bring Mashiach now, is no longer something that is in the far distant future, or not even in the near future. This is something that is applicable to here and now. And the moment that any one Jew, and the Rebbe speaks about 1 Jew, 2 Jews, 3 Jews get together, but even one Jew brings himself together and goes and seriously demands from Hashem that Mashiach should come, that's all that is needed. And it's not a dream. We're not talking about like we said before, we're not talking about the future, we're talking about here and now. And this is what the Rebbe was basically telling us on the 28th of Nisan. We have to snap out of this dream that Mashiach and Geula is some far off in a distance idea and concept. No, not more, and not anymore. This is the time, and now is the time that not only is the Geula here, but all we need is to open our eyes, the Rebbe says, in order to see the Geula Shleima Vamitis, and Yehi Rotzen, coming from this auspicious day, it should be Teichef Umiyad immediately now. We'll begin the Dvar Malchus. Those that are following the PDF file, it's on page 22. We didn't mention it. Page 22, Ois Hey. The Rebbe says as follows: Ve'ed inyan ikri ba'avedas hakteres. Another major concept in the service of the Kteres, the offering of the incense in the Beis Hamikdash, it states as follows: V'hikter alav Aaron Kteres samim. Aaron shall offer the incense upon the golden upon the Kteres samim, the incense, babaker, very early in the morning. In other words, it was the first thing that was offered, even before the parallel to the time that the korban tomid was offered in the Beis Hamikdash, early in the morning. This is the way the whole service of the Beis Hamikdash started, and then it says, Behitive esaneres, when he will attend to the lighting, attend to the lights of these are the lights of the golden candelabra, yaktirena. Then he shall bring the incense upon the golden altar, uvahalis Aaron esaneres, and when Aaron will also kindle the lights of the candelabra, Bein Harabayim, before sunset, Yaktirena. There was also another time that the incense were offered upon the golden altar, upon the Mizbeach Zav. Now, the Rebbe continues to say, Neiros, when we're talking about candles or lights, Koyal Nishmais Yisrael, this is connotating the souls of the Jewish nation. Like it states, Ner Havaya Nishmas Odom. It states in Mishlei, in Proverbs, that the candle of Hashem is the soul of the human being. Sha'atavoson vadlakoson, that the preparing and the lighting of these lights, hi al yedei haTorah mitzvahs. How do we prepare and light the neshama, the soul of a Jew, of each and every one of us? Through the study of Torah and the observance of the commandments of the Torah. Ner mitzvah v'te'er, like it states in regard to the fact that the candle, ner mitzvah, that the mitzvahs are considered to be lights, candles, v'te'er, and the Torah is considered to be light. Then the Rebbe goes and says, "V'neisaf lazeh." In addition to this, al yedei adlakas haneros nimshach u'mizgale or hakdusha gam ba'olam. Through the kindling of the lights of the candelabra, there is a drawing and a revealing of the holiness, the holy light of Hashem, also in the mundane world. Kidrashas Chachamenu Zal, as the teaching of our rabbis of blessed memory, ala posuk on the verse. V'yilchu elecha shemen zayzach, and they shall take unto you pure olive oil, elecha v'leili, to you and not to me, Hashem says. Leila eira ani tzarich. I don't need, Hashem is saying, I don't have a need for the light of the menorah. Vayas labayis chaloinei shkufim atumim. And he made unto the Beis Hamikdash windows that were shkufim and atumim. They were transparent, and they were built in a manner that they were wide on the outside and narrow on the inside, in order for the light to spread out to the entire world. Usually, people make the window wide on the inside so that the home, the person's abode, will be illuminated from the light from the sun outside. But here in the Beis Hamikdash, it was just on the contrary, the opposite. And this is the Hashem expresses that this is the way that people should understand that Hashem doesn't need the light. The light is the illumination is in order to light up and to illuminate the world. Tana shkufim rechavim. We have learned in the Mishnah what is shkufim. Shkufim means wide, rechavim, mi bachutz, from the outside, ve'atumim, piem otum ve'kotzar mi bifnim. And the windows were atumim, they were narrow from the inside. Mi bifnim. Kotzar mi bifnim, omarchi v'hilech litzad chutz. They were narrow from the inside, and they went and they became wider and wider towards the outside. Kedeshete oira yetze mehechal shetoyer la'olam. In order for the light of the candelabra to go out from the sanctuary in order to illuminate the entire world. Key, and what was the reason for this? Leila eira nitzarich. For I, Hashem says, I do not have a personal need for the light of the candelabra. It's for the illumination of the mundane worlds, all the spiritual worlds as well. And this was outside of the curtain of the testimony in Oyel Mayed, in the tent of the testimony. Eidus hu, this is a testament lechol ba'ei oilam, to all the people of the world. Lechol ba'ei oilam. Shashchina Shoira B'Yisrael, that the divine presence dwells upon the Jewish nation. Okay, Shezeu Inyan Ikri B'Asiyas HaMishkan. This is a major concept in the building of the tabernacle. K'dei Shal Yodei Tiyeh Hashras Hashchina Ba'Olam. For in order for the tabernacle to have a hashras hashchina, the dwelling of the divine presence in the entire world. Nishlam hakishur v'chibur, and through this there is a a completion of the connection and the bond, the elyonim, the sartenim of the heavenly realms and the mundane realm, shehischil b'matan Torah, which commenced when with the giving of the Torah at Har Sinai. It's important to mention, we didn't mention at the beginning of the class, but during this period of time between Pesach and Shavuos, we count the Omer that was given as the barley offering that was given the day after the first Yontif of Pesach. 49 days we count until the 50th day, which is Shavuos, the holiday of the giving of the Torah. That's what reminded me to mention it. And since this is the case, this is the mitzvah. So when we get together, especially when we write letters one to another, so we mention on the top what is the count of the Omer for today. Tonight we counted 14 days, which are 2 weeks to the Omer, which is the Malchus Shebigvura. Let's continue. And obviously, if a person needs to count the Omer and hasn't counted it yet, they should count the Omer as well. And according to this, we have to explain the concept of the service of the incense. Bisman hatovas v'halos haneres. Why was it at the same time, parallel to the time that the lights of the candelabra were being prepared and later on being lit? Be'idon hatova, be'idon hadloka. Like it states, there is a need for the preparing of the lights of the candelabra, and there's a need for the actual lighting of the lights of the candelabra as well. The completion of the connecting and the bonding with the Holy One, blessed be He, mitzad b'chinas haYechida, as this relates to the highest level of the neshama, the Yechida. The service of the incense is drawn and is revealed, and is illuminated through the lights of the candelabra on all the different levels, all the details of the levels. The ner havaya nishmas ha'adam. Levels of what? Of what we mentioned before. The candle of Hashem is the soul of the human being. Gam b'koichos pnimiyim. This is also talking about the inner powers of each and every individual. That they are revealed through this service, the service of the incense being offered on the golden altar. But specifically, they illuminate. It's drawn out and revealed throughout the entire universe through what? Through the lighting of the lights of the candelabra in the Beis Hamikdash. And this is in regard to all the details of the service, the ner mitzvah v'terah, of the candle being the observance of the commandments, the Torah, and light being the study of the Torah. And this even brings about the drawing down and the revelation of this light here in this mundane world. And this concept is even more stressed through the fact that the service of the incense, when was this? In the middle of the preparation of the lights of the candelabra. In which, in regard to the preparation of the lights of the candelabra, there was a break between the preparing of the first 5 lights of the candelabra and the last 2 lights of the candelabra, in order to give time for the offering of the incense on the Mizbeach Hazov. Kedas Chachomim shemafsikim bakteres. And this is according to the opinion of the rabbis, that we stop in the kteres, that we make a protrusion in the offering of the incense, and not like abashol shemafsikin b'dam atomid, that the break is in the blood, when we sprinkle the blood of the perpetual sacrifice, the korban atomid. Kanisker el sif aleph, as mentioned before in the letter aleph that we learned. And it is through this break between the first 5 and the last 2 lights of the menorah that there was a ilui, there was an elevation in the preparation of the last 2 lights of the menorah. For since this was after the offering of the incense, it is even greater stressed, the drawing and the revelation, dargas akteres, of the level of the incense, as we learned before, which is above the level of the sacrifices in the Beis Hamikdash, and this is basically expressed in general in the sacrifice of the Tomid. Kedas Abashol, as the opinion of Abashol, shemafsikin b'dam atomid, that we make the break between the preparation of the first 5 and the last 2 candles of lights of the candelabra in regard to the time that we sprinkle the blood of the korban tomid. Shegam dargazu, that also this level, tumshoch v'tisgale, it should be drawn down and revealed in our service with our revealed powers, to the extent that it should be also here in the mundane material world. And this will be even more sweetened. According to what the Maimonides states, that after the preparing of the first 5 lights of the candelabra, would enter the individual that had drawn the lot to enter and for the service of the incense, umaktir, and he would offer the incense. And only afterwards, the person that won the lot of going and removing the ashes from the candelabra from the previous day, previous night, and then he would prepare the last two lights of the menorah. And the one that offered the incense upon the golden candelabra would exit from the sanctuary together with the individual that removed the ashes from the candelabra, as we mentioned just now. And this adds to the words of the Mishnah. They came and they stood, etc. And it stresses that after the Kohen that went and offered the incense upon the golden altar finished his service with the incense, he would not exit immediately from the sanctuary, but he remained inside the sanctuary until the next Kohen went in to prepare the last two lights of the candelabra. And it was only after this second Kohen entered and he finished his service of preparing the last 2 lights of the candelabra, both of these Kohanim would exit together. For we must say, in this is hinted that in the preparing of the 2 last lights of the candelabra, There is also the help, and there is also the help of the kohen that offered the incense. What kind of help was he given? He was going and offering the incense on the golden mizbeach, on the golden altar, and the other one went to go and to prepare the lights of the menorah. Kedei shal yedei haneros, for it was through the lights of the menorah, tumshach v'tisgala, they will be drawn and revealed, gam darkas haiskashus v'aischabus shal yedei akteres. Also, the level of connecting and bonding with Hashem that was done through the offering of the incense on the golden altar. In other words, one was connected with the other, and therefore, since they were joined together, even though one was done by each Kohen, one service was done, the incense and the preparing of the lights were done by two separate Kohanim, and one was done before the other. They only exited when the other finished his service with the preparing of the lights of the candelabra. Only then, upon this, both of them exited the sanctuary together. Vav, we'll do another ois. It's a short one. According to this, we also we must explain why is it that the beginning of the portion of Tetzaveh is with the portion of the lights of the candelabra. Mizbar le'el, we have learned above, shetetzaveh, that the concept of tetzaveh, command, remez al hatzavta v'chibur im HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It hints to the connecting and the uniting with the Holy One, blessed be He. It's not only a word that has the definition of commanding, the tetzaveh, but also connecting. She'ikara ushleimusa, that the main and completion of this concept is b'mizbach hakteres, with the altar of the incense, shebesiyum v'choisam haparsha, which is at the end and the culmination of the parsha, the portion of Tetzaveh. And this was the question that we asked earlier. What's going on here? It's not even according to the order. And just as we learned that in the portion that we learn about, the incense, that is at the end and the culmination of the parsha, it is stressed that the level of the incense, kishra v'chibur, the connecting and the joining, how is it? How is the incense drawn and revealed into the mundane world through the lights of the menorah? So also is stressed, and mainly, the main concept, at the beginning of the portion of Tetzaveh, that the level of Tetzaveh, tzavta v'chibur, joining and uniting, just like the incense, is drawn and revealed, and illuminates al yedei haneres, through the lights of the golden candelabra in the Beis Hamikdash. That the beginning of the portion of Tetzaveh, he beparshas haneres, is with what? The portion that speaks about, that tells us about the lights of the golden candelabra. And you shall command the children of Israel. And they will take unto you pure olive oil, in order to ignite and to have the flame of the perpetual light burn. In the tent of the covenant, outside the curtain, asher al ha'edus, which was separating between the ark of the covenant, the ark of the covenant, and the other kalim, the other vessels of that stood in the kodesh. Yeah, and this is what? The drawing and down and the revelation of the level of tetzaveh. In other words, not only commandment, but like we said before, the joining and the uniting of the Jewish nation with Hashem throughout the entire world. The signan achektas, and in a different manner, we can express. The Rebbe says it can be expressed. Tochna shel parshas tetzaveh, the contents of the portion of tetzaveh, ruba kikula, the majority, which is considered to be the entire parsha, hu al dvar kehunas Aaron uvanav la'aveda b'mishkan, is in regard to the priesthood of Aaron, who was the Kohen Gadol, and uvanav and his sons la'aveda b'mishkan, to serve in the tabernacle, and later on in the Beis Hamikdash. Shal Yedei Zeh, for it is through this, says the Rebbe, v'nigdash hamishkan b'chvedi, that the Mishkan, the tabernacle, was sanctified with the glory of Hashem. Shetishre shchinasi bei, in order, like we said before, for the divine presence to dwell within it. V'lachein, and therefore, Psichas HaParsha, the beginning of the portion is Ba'aveda ha'ikris, with the central service, the Aaron of Aaron and his sons, Shal Yodo Nase Sashro Sashchina Begilui, that it is through it, this service, that the dwelling of the divine presence becomes revealed. Parshas Haneres, the portion of that speaks about the service of the preparing and the lighting of the lights of the candelabra. V'shiyuma v'choisama, and the end and the culmination of the parsha, b'shleimus hashros hashchina, in regard to the completion of the dwelling of the divine presence of the Shechina, shal yedei avodas hakteres, which is through what? The service of the incense, and how the service of the incense was drawn down and revealed through, like we said before, through the kindling and the preparing and the lighting of the lights of the menorah. The Parshas Mizbach HaKteres. But where is this spoken about? In the portion that speaks about the Mizbach HaKteres, the altar, the golden altar, the altar of the incense. Shebesiyuma v'choisama, that is at the end and the culmination of this parsha and of this service of the offering of the incense. Nizkar Gam also is mentioned al Dvar hatovas v'haloas haneres, in regard to the preparing and the kindling of the lights of the golden candelabra. And like this, as we said, this is something that is drawn down and revealed throughout the entire world through the illumination of the menorah to the entire universe. Yechi Adonenu Moreinu v'Rabbeinu HaMelech HaMoshiach Chai v'Kayam Le'olam Voed. Amen.